Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Hearts of Iron 4, where we are continuing the National Focus World Tour, where we are playing each and every nation in the game so that I can learn how the different focuses work, what modifiers are possible, what special things each nation does, so that I can basically create my own in the future, because I am joining Paradox as a content designer on Hearts of Iron. Hey, Oxycoon, how are you doing? So we are going to be playing as Canada, because last time we played as Germany. This time I wanted to play as a smaller nation and basically go major, minor, until we run out of majors. And I also want to switch where in the world we are, so we're not always in the same spot. Canada entered the Great War as a mere colony and left it as a nation. Born in the mud of Passchendaele, Canada now takes its first uncertain steps onto the world stage. Hobbled by the Great Depression and with internal divisions between the Anglophones and the Francophones, the future of this new nation looks anything but secure. So we do start with conscription crisis amongst the French Canadians, and then also the Great Depression, which might cause us some problems. Okay, let's see what they've got going for them. Also, hype train, hype, level 2. Choo choo. And of course the UI didn't load. Why am I the only person in the world that gets that bug? I don't understand. We'll just reload. I think it's because I was on the nation select screen for too long. Because I haven't seen it reported by anyone else. Are we going historical Canada? That's a good question. So, I think I want to decide when I'm actually looking at their focus tree, because their focus tree did just get an overhaul. Huzzah! Just a couple of days ago, there was an update for Hearts of Iron, which included changes to Canada. Syndrin gifted a sub to the Crazy Canadian. Thank you very much for that, Syndrin. Can't have a Canadian in chat without a sub today. Oh, nice. Alright, so let's just go and see if I can find the patch notes real quick. Blah, blah, blah. Changes. Hit profile speed factor. Oh, hang on, there's naval changes. Okay, suddenly I'm interested. The initial intent of the... You know what, I'll just move this over so that you guys can see what I'm seeing. Where's my right-hand screen? There it is. And bring in the camera as well. Why not? The initial intent of the hit profile change is the naval rebalance started in 1.12.0, which was to reduce the effect of speed. This is now complete with the halving of the effects of speed on the calculation. So decreased hit profile speed factor from 2 to 0.5. This will make speed ship affect hit profiles less. The final calculation is visibility times 100, speed times 0.5 plus 20 with this final place in place. Destroyers are roughly being hit at the same rate as pre 1.20, but the effect of slower speed ships such as capital ships is much lower, resulting in greatly reduced hit rates. Okay, so that should mean less casualties among capital ships. For a long time, air accidents have been of minimal consequence, thus reliability of planes was less valuable than wanted, and air accident advisors were of low value. Accidents have now been doubled in occurrence, and the amount of aircraft lost per incident is also doubled. Ooh. This means that reliability modifiers for planes are even more useful, and taking that air accident reduction spirit on advisors might be a good idea if you need to conserve your aircraft stocks. Additionally, when training, as before, you get a 1.5 multiplier to accident occurrence when training, so keep an eye on training air wings. You may have to lose a few aircraft to keep those wings ready for war. Obviously, losing more aircraft to accidents reduces your wings experience, so we have increased this so that you can train wings in good time, despite the increased losses. Air accident base chance increased from 0.05 to 0.1. Balance. Canadian focuses. National Steel Car and Thin in the Zombies are no longer mutually exclusive. The Great Depression has already been removed. The focus on war-fueled economy and reactivate the Farmers' Unity League will grant a significant temporary construction speed boost. Canadian focuses regarding the repatriation of Newfoundland are now available to the recently added Communist Path. Divisional commanders' XP requirements for level thresholds and for gaining aptitude have been reduced across the board. Divisional commanders gain more experience. Okay, those seem to be the big ones. Turkey will no longer ask again for investment to a country until the country has accepted the portfolio and finished the decision to invest in Turkey. Good, because that was a problem for me in Germany, especially when Turkey was in the Allies. Fighting against us, we were still getting those. Cool. So this was Operation Cockpit, which Captain has very nicely put a little diagram together. So we're here, and then we're going to have Operation Alpha. Interesting. So we've gone all the way along here. Nice. Cool, cool, cool. Staying on the nation select screen for too long is an awfully specific reproduction step. Yeah. I don't even know for sure that it's that. It might have to be something like stayed on the nation select screen with a nation selected for too long. Because it doesn't always happen. It's like a 40% chance or something like that. And I haven't reliably managed to recreate it. Free Kill TM has gifted a sub to Zedstern. Thank you very much for that free kill. Very much appreciate the generosity there. And we are at level 3 Hype Train. Choo choo! And Crazy Canadian, was your birthday yesterday? Happy birthday to you yesterday. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the focus tree. See what is going on. So, starting over here, Roel Siros Commission gives political power, leads to infrastructure, and more infrastructure, and civilian factories, though not slots, it just gives the factories. That's a weird one. Then Crown Corporations gives the infrastructure, civilian factory, construction speed, buff, advisor, which we're going to want. None of those increase industrial research time, though. 3 building slots for Southern Ontario. So that one gives slots and not as many factories, which is actually what I prefer. Political advisor cost, there's an industrial buff. Lots of oil. Can't do war bonds until we're actually at war. So we can't really start boosting the military industry until we're actually at war. Okay, well, that's an interesting one. Oh, but we do have significant consumer goods reduction. Army modernization, nothing particularly special here. And it has what is probably the most useless focuses in these trees. Like research buff for trucks. It's one of the things you want to research really early. It is one that we don't start with, though. Wait, we don't start with trucks? Don't we have the British tech? No, we don't. No, we don't, because they have battleships and stuff researched. That's changed. Anyway, while we are in this screen, we may as well also sort out our industrial upgrades, which are the usual trifecta. Let's get back to the focus tree. So, army modernization, support artillery, doctrine, mountaineers, marines. So it looks maybe send in the zombies, recruitable population factor. Interesting. Looks like we may be military specialists. And then strengthen Commonwealth ties versus patriation. Patriation is the alternative history set. Where we guarantee the United States, apparently. North American Alliance. Dominion of Canada requests North American Alliance. So that's basically Canada and the US versus the world. Swastika clubs, which are the fascist path, and then burn the royal portraits, which is the communist path, which leads to the ability to take the Newfoundland and Labrador chunks. RCAF Station Borden, that's air power. We get quite a few radars and things for free. Interesting. Air research speed, strategic bomber, strat bombing. So, strategic bombers. That's something we haven't really done much of. And light hull sub-detection, cruiser sub-detection, degaussing technology. 25% convoy production speed. Ah, so we're all about escorting. And what we're thinking about that. Deck size, armor, maximum range versus maximum range, sub-detection, max speed, 4 screens. Airplanes, reliability, agility, max speed on fighters. And then strat bomber, strat bombing. Get this one early to get the fighters going and then switch out to this one mid to late game. Tanks are rubbish. We have nothing special for support equipment. We have nothing special for industry. And we have no specific theorists either. So we can really do whatever we want long term. Alright, so what I usually do is I look to see where we get free infrastructure. It's just Crown Corporations and then Canadian Pacific Railway, which is Côte Nord and Vancouver Island gain 1 infrastructure, and that's it. So we should be pretty safe just boosting infrastructure everywhere. Particularly where our factories are. Don't have that much capacity for factories. There's Côte Nord, so you want to go to 4. Are there any places that give us resources? No, so I think that's going to be okay to start with. How do we get rid of Great Depression? We get rid of it with the Canada Wheat Board. Ah, I see. The Defense of Canada regulations comes in once world tension is high enough. War bonds is the one that we can't do until we're at war. Okay, that's good to know. And then war-fueled economy is the final end. But that one I'm pretty sure, yes, requires war bonds. Oh, no, never mind. It doesn't. So all of this is pre-war. We just need world tension. So we've got to keep an eye on that. In the meantime, Crown Corporations gives us the political advisor, which we're not going to be able to afford immediately, although we're going to be able to get you pretty quickly. So I think we'll do Raoul Sirois, and then we'll do Crown Corporations. And then we'll need to make a decision between staying in the Allies. Oh, we're playing historical. There should be oil in the prairie provinces. Yes, there will be, once we get Imperial oil. A little bit. Not a huge amount. Not at this period. What was I saying? So we are currently playing on historical. And I think for the most part I prefer playing on historical. Because it just keeps the world balance better. Like, if we're playing as one of the really small nations, then I don't think it matters so much. Canada kind of matters if it's in the Allies or not. And they don't do anything particularly interesting. As far as I know. Although the communists can get rid of Great Depression sooner. I think we'll go with strengthen Commonwealth ties. We'll keep it historical for now. Right, so we said we we're going to start with Raoul Sirois. The Roel Sirois Commission has determined that Canada's federal constitutional arrangement hinders recovery from the Great Depression. We should equalise the standards of service nationwide. And then we're also making guns, and I think... How many trains do we have? 7. Let's get a couple of trains going. Let's get a little bit of support equipment going. Let's get some artillery going. Do that. And then in terms of naval, I think right now it's just going to be convoys, because we just don't have the naval capacity for more. And then we have a bunch of troops available who will need training. They need a lot of equipment. Which hasn't calculated yet. Speed 5, 3.6k. There we go. And Britain's immediately sending me a lend-lease, which I will absolutely accept. Thank you. And then we have 2 ships. Canada! 2! And 1 tiny fighter squadron. Which, considering I don't even have planes to replace up to the 24 we have, I'm not even going to start training them. Because now that we know that losses have been doubled, over there so I can actually see. Move it back a little bit. Just move the microphone. Okay, that's more optimal. So I think we're good to just go ahead and unpause and see what happens. What kind of commanders do we have? Actually, pretty good ones. They don't have any special traits, but they also don't have any negatives. And they start relatively high level. Which has pros and cons. I actually kind of prefer having lots of traits but low level commanders, because then you can train them up yourself, and then the national spirits, not the national spirits, the army spirits affect you more, because then you can have like bold attack, where every time they level up they have a chance of getting more attack. Italy moves to annex the Sultanate of Orsa. Rumours are swirling that the annexation of the Sultanate of Orsa by Italian forces may be imminent. Britain cancels the Lend-Lease, now that they probably themselves realise they're low on equipment. Oh, wait. Already poured some tea. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. Germany has stationed troops in the Rhineland territory close to the French border in a clear violation of the Treaty of Versailles. Turkey and the Soviet Union have come to an agreement on revising the Treaty of Lausanne, which was signed and implemented after the nascent Republic of Turkey repulsed some people. Not going to go for that. We're going to go for the Crown Corporations, because now we have definitely got enough political power. To provide essential services and stimulate economic and industrial growth, Canada must create many new Crown Corporations. Where private enterprise will not step in, the government must. We can also start to give refuge to people if we want to spend the political power, but I don't think I want to do that at this juncture. There's also quite a lot of steel to get in Ouest de Quebec, which I think just means East Quebec. So what other options are available here? Silent Workhorse, Popular Figurehead, yeah, nobody that's really useful. The industrial concern might be good, but I think I'd rather wait for the infrastructure boosting advisor. There's electronic mechanical engineering. Let's go on to mechanical computing. In the Second World War, the Canadian Navy went from non-existent to the second largest in the world. Impressive. Actually, not sure I believe that. Are you saying that the Canadian Navy was bigger than either the USA or the UK? Because I don't believe that. Third? Maybe. Second? Oh, Merchant Navy. Yeah, third largest I can believe. Because their competitors, Italy and Japan, would have been sunk. The only one that might have been similar would be the Soviets. Though I don't think they had a particularly big navy. But the second largest merchant marine in the Allies before the US joined, I think, was Norway. Which is kind of an interesting one. Second London Naval Treaty signed. Delegations from Britain, France, Italy, Japan and the US met in December of 1935 to discuss the renewal of the London Naval Treaty, which restricted the number and size of cruisers and submarines. Norway's merchant fleet was massive. Yeah, it was huge. They are basically the reason the Soviets were able to get the Lend-Lease from the Allies to keep fighting. Because it was the Norwegian merchant marine, even after the fall of Norway, continued to fight, obviously. Transport. And they were usually the ones who braved the Arctic route. Basic machine tools and Crown Corporation's done, so let's go ahead and finish you. Housing Act. I mean, going more industry is pretty much always the right choice. But then again, we also get more sharing bonus. Add the plan. I love focuses that are like this. Fighter range carrier, close air support. Okay, so that just makes our Air Force really good. So yeah, we're going to go the Canadian Air Force. We are going to go the Air Force with a state known as Canada. Which means we are going to need to start researching air stuff probably in 37. And we're not the faction leader, so we can't use the NXL manpower, which is a little unfortunate. Okay, National Housing Act. Building slots in civilian factories. Political advisor cost research bonus for industry, which allows to get the ahead of time construction. A modernizing dominion needs to have standardized regulations on housing across the nation. We must improve the living conditions of all Canadians. And we're going to go concentrated industry. Actually, what Air Force stuff do we have? Air Doctrine. 100% research bonus on fighters. And we have that once. So I am wondering... We probably want to get the 36. We want to try to research the 40. And maybe drop the 100% on the advanced small airframe. Maybe get that in 41, 42. I think that would be a really big boon. Huzzah! Arthur! Thank you very much for the 30-month resub. Very much appreciate that. Happy 30 to me and happy weekend to you all. Oxycoon, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. It's funny, Canada had at one point 3 aircraft carriers in its lifetime. Interesting. That I didn't know. Nostra ship operated around 1,000 ships during World War II. Nice. Ethiopia capitulated 4th of July 1936. Happy Independence Day. Or not, in Ethiopia's case. Construction 1, done. So we could go to Construction 2, which is slightly ahead of time, and then drop the 100% bonus on Construction 3. I kind of like that idea. Or we could wait a little bit longer. Because we're going to get the Housing Act. Then $1 a day men, it's another 70 days. There's basically 140 days. We can get that after concentrated industry. In which case, let's go and get more basic airframe. We're going to start our plan to start getting fighters built. Nationalist Spain declared war on Spain. I don't think that we're able to get involved in this. Can't lend lease, we can't volunteer, so no. But that is a little bit more world tension. Oh, hang on, I forgot something. We need to grab our political advisor, which was the captain of industry. And... can't do mobilization. Oh my god, we're 2% off. Wait, were you free? That didn't cost me anything.